Hello, fabulous superstar Libra. Welcome to your horoscope for the month of June 2018, looking at life and love. I am your astrologer, Nadiya Shah. Thank you for being here. What an amazing month it is. We have got an active sky this month, and ultimately it is a sky that is leading you towards great passion, but also great grounding as well. But before we get to that grounded energy, well, we've got to go through a period that feels a little bit ephemeral, a little bit hard to contain, and even hard to describe as well. I'm so excited to tell you about this all. So let's start with the new moon. As we move towards the middle of the month, we are going to have a new moon taking place. Now, this new moon is happening in fellow air sign Gemini. In fact, the air energy this month is lit up, which means that you'll be able to use it that much more to your advantage. This is energy taking place in your own element. With this particular new moon, we have got opportunities, inspirations, really, having to do with things like long distance travel, immigration, citizenship, higher learning, and legal matters as well. However, the thing is that this particular new moon is speaking with Neptune, and it is a conversation of tension, but also motivation. But it's Neptune. And so sometimes, even if the motivation is there, you can't quite pin it down. You can't quite put your finger on it. And I do think that there's going to be a lot of people out there who feel like they have this moment of being back in a Mercury retrograde. Even though Mercury is not retrograde, you feel like you dipped back into it for a moment. In these very areas of life that I mentioned, this is where that Mercury retrograde energy may find you. And what do I mean by that? Well, I just mean that the energy is not clear. The messages, the information you get may not necessarily be accurate. And so you do want to keep that in mind, especially if you are pursuing any of these endeavors. You know, I'm very much of the belief, and if you've been watching me for a while, you know I love to travel. I very much have the travel bug, I must say. And the thing is that I always think of every journey that I take as a spiritual journey, every journey that I take. And I recently came to have this deeper appreciation how it really is every journey. And it isn't just about like when I'm going to a new place or I'm traveling or I'm taking a plane. That can be part of it. But really, any journey through life is a spiritual journey. But that especially starts to become highlighted for us, or at least for me and for you this month in particular, as it is that you are considering or feeling inspired towards taking a spiritual journey of your own. However, the thing is that what spiritual lessons you think that you are meant to have and what that's supposed to feel like for you and what it actually is and what it is that your soul is ready to learn, well, they don't always match up, right? It's not always the same thing. And so keep space for that. Be open to that. The more it is that you can walk through your life with a spirit of acceptance and a spirit of understanding that what it is that shows up for you ultimately in some way you can use to move towards greater love and greater wisdom, which is part of the blessing and the mystery of life. Well, the more it is, you'll start to tap into this energy in a way that feels that much more empowering. With Neptune, though, it can feel a little bit like you're not really sure where it is you stand, or, you know, you sort of had a plan and the plan goes out the window. Look, when Neptune is involved, especially with a new moon like this, the least amount of illusion of control you give yourself, well, the more it is that you're going to allow yourself to relax and go along with the ride and enjoy yourself. And so with all these areas I mentioned, of course, travel may very well be part of this. If it is that you are traveling around this time or making plans to travel around this time, well, just give yourself more time than you thought you'd need. And so if it is that you are actually traveling, well, just make sure you're getting to the airport really early and things like that. If it is that you are in a process of like confirming travel plans that'll take place at another time, well, allow yourself to make plans in a way that have some flexibility, because chances are plans are going to change, and chances are that your inspiration may change as well. And I would also say, you know, with these other areas I mentioned, things like higher education, legal matters, even political matters, and being politically active, well, this can be a time when it can feel just like when you know the answer, maybe it's more elusive than you realized. And there may be subtleties there that are sort of making you feel a little bit off center, like just when you thought you knew the answer, just when you thought you knew what was fair or what was right, well, then maybe you're not so sure. And that actually is good. That actually ensures that what it is that you do believe is what it is that truly is of your own choosing. And so sometimes these periods of questioning can actually be really good. But yes, on a more practical level, if you're in an institute of higher learning, give yourself more time to go to school, especially if you know that you have a test or something to take. Double check like where it is that you have to go, especially right around the days of this new moon. Now, another thing that I do want you to be mindful of, and I would like you to watch, especially considering that next month is a big month because we are going to start eclipse season, and it is going to be an extended eclipse season at that. And we're going to get the very first glimpse in the middle of next month as to where it is that in the coming couple of years, your career path is going to go through changes and go through these like lifts forward, if you will, these leaps forward. Well, this month, you want to watch what happens just days after the new moon. That is when the moon is actually going to move over where he will be moving over once we have that eclipse. So this is really a foreshadowing, if you will. Now, depending on where you are on the planet, could be the 14th or 15th of the month. These are the days you want to pay attention. If there is any career ideas you're having, well, this is where they're going to come on strong. If there are new opportunities that could be brewing for you, well, this is where you start to get a sense of where they could be. You start to hear a little something. You start to understand where it is that you may want to pay a little bit more attention. In some way, the universe may let you know this month which way it is that you are heading and where it is and how it is. Maybe those understandings and those changes and those leaps forward may be taking place for you that really are going to accelerate next month. Given that the upcoming eclipse is happening at the very top of your sky, it makes it that much more consequential, especially in matters having to do with career, social standing, and life purpose, and more. So do pay attention to what's happening, because this is where you may find yourself starting to align with bigger career changes and bigger life purpose changes as well, that ultimately feel aligned with a higher, more loving vision for your life. As we move towards the later part of the month, that is when we are going to have a full moon. Now, this full moon is happening at the very bottom of your sky, the foundations of your life, if you will. And what is special about this full moon is that it is happening hand in hand with Saturn. Now, as I spoke about in the Saturn special horoscope that I did like last year I did that, and that is up on my YouTube channel that you can watch there when I did the overview, and the previews are there as well for each sign. But I talked about how Saturn moving through its home sign as he is now, well, this tends to be a place that Saturn likes. He's able to bring forward his higher qualities when he's at home in his home sign. Well, it is going to be with this full moon that these qualities are going to be highlighted and progress can be made. Now, ultimately, a full moon represents culmination. It represents fruition, things coming full circle, if you will. With Saturn there, we are guaranteed manifestation as well. But the thing is, it is manifestation that we have earned, that we have put in the time for. If you are somebody who works with homes or from homes, then you can absolutely experience gains at this time. But remember, there are likely to be gains that have been a while coming, that you have been working on for a while. This could also be a time of buying, selling, moving, or a new roommate. And this can also be a time where you feel called towards spending more time with your family of origin, in particular, your parents. Remember, ultimately with Saturn, it's not so much about surprise. It's about what it is whose time has come. And the full moon is only going to add emotional power to that. And where it is that you're ready to either solidify your roots, where it is you're ready to claim where home is for you, or change where it is home is for you, well, this full moon will help you in that regard. Now, finally, and where it comes to matters of love, this month, the 26th, again, you want to give or take a day on either side, depending on where you are on the planet. But look, that is when Mars goes retro. This is a really big deal. Mars going retrograde in a heart-oriented part of your sky means that love is going to take on an unusual focus for you. now and in the weeks and months ahead for that matter. Now, I did talk about this, of course, in your Mars retrograde special, which is in the superstar space and on my website. But of course, I'm also going to talk about it as we go along. So let me say this. This is a part of the sky for you that is very flirtatious, that is very heart-oriented, and has a genuine desire to feel an awareness, an awakening where it comes to matters of heart. If you're open to meeting someone new, watch what transpires at this time, because what happens, especially in the last week of the month, well, in some way you'll come back around to it in October, but also in some way you'll be going over this again and again in the weeks and months ahead. I would also say this with this particular time. Well, here's the thing. If somebody shows up in your life in the last week of this month, well, chances are in some way they're going to be coming around again and again as part of your learning and as part of your understanding. Ultimately, with Mars in this particular part of your sky and going retro, it's helping you to get to the roots of your passions. And that's passions in every area of life, but of course that includes in love as well. For those of you who are in an established bond, this becomes very much about how bonded do you feel on a heart level with your partner. If you are someone who is truly with that person that you feel that connection with, well, this can be a time of deepening, profound depth to that heart connection you feel with your partner. But if you are somebody who maybe doesn't really have that, well, that's going to show itself to you at this time, along with the desire to have something that feels more authentic as well. What I love about this month for you, well, look, it's a lot of things this month, right? There's so much going on. I love that you are foreshadowing towards these big career gains coming up for you next month. But I also love how much your heart is awakened at this time as well. In fact, Mars spends all month moving through this part of the sky that has to do with matters of heart. And this pretty much guarantees that you will be experiencing a sense of not only awakening, but connection as well. A connection that is going to affirm to you that you deserve love, and you truly do. Well, thank you so much for watching. You can get a video like this every week by logging on to astrofabulous.com or nadiyashah.com. Sign up to be one of my superstars. Superstars get expanded, exclusive video scopes every week, unlimited access to special horoscopes, and so much more in the superstar space. And of course, special horoscopes are also on my website, nadiyashah.com. I look forward to meeting you there. Well, thank you again. It'll be a great month. Enjoy.